You idiot.
Matthew got up from the floor on all fours, seething. The world seemed to be oddly tilted to one side.
Now isn't that a bit of an extreme reaction, Edgar?
He shouted.
I only kissed her for old time's sake. Our studies ending and all that.
He looked up the stairs. Edgar Smythe and his girlfriend, or rather, ex-girlfriend, as far as the gossip went, looked down at him with an alarmed expression. Well, they should. He had only kissed her once. Granted, doing it in front of that blasted idiot Edgar was not the wisest thing to do, but still. One should expect some manners from someone who had just studied several years at one of the finest boarding schools on the plates. The girl he had just kissed put her hands on her face and let out a proper movie scream. Edgar just stood there, his hands frozen in the air in the position they had been when he'd pushed Matthew down the stairs to the floor of Great Hall.
Seriously.
Matthew had to put his hands on his ears when the screaming just continued.
Take it down for a decibel or two. Or take a breath at least. What's there to scream about?
His head was somehow stuck on his right shoulder. He must have pulled a muscle as he fell. The girl kept on screaming, her lung capacity was extraordinary, and people started to appear, running. They all gathered around him. The teachers, the students.
Okay. Let's not exaggerate this. I am quite okay. Just twisted my neck a bit.
Matthew said, lifting his hand in a calming gesture.
For this, my father will of course sue you, Edgar. But other than that, let's move on.
The people stood in a ring around him. Still they didn't seem to look directly at him, but down, which was a bit strange.
Yep. Let's move on indeed.
A rather bored girl's voice said from behind him.
I haven't got all day. Or rather, I do, but Anthony is baking scones to welcome you, and the kitchen is filled with gluttons galore. If we don't make it there quickly, there will be nothing left. The others couldn't care less if there is anything left for us.
What?
Matthew swirled around and almost fell again. He really needed to straighten his head, but it seemed to be oddly unresponsive to his will. The girl had short, black, spiky hair and wore no makeup. She should have. Girls always looked better with makeup, was Matthew's opinion. On top of not wearing makeup, her right temple looked like someone had splashed a bottle of ketchup on it.
Yeah, I know.
The girl noticed his stare and put a finger on her left temple.
Bullet in.
She slapped the palm of her hand on her right temple and made a noise that resembled squirting ketchup out of the bottle.
Bullet out.
What?
I think Anthony sent me to pick you up because neither one of us is quite right in the head. Maybe he thought you'd bond better with me and would follow me more easily.
She snorted as if she had told a good joke.
Have you escaped from some loony bin?
Matthew asked, surprisingly politely in his own opinion. One should be careful with crazy people after all. The girl pouted her lips and considered.
If I knew whether you mean my mortal life, or the existence in the halfway house, I might perhaps be able to answer. But as far as you go, you're about to escape this funny farm for good.
Matthew decided not to pay any attention to the crazy girl and about turned. His head still uncomfortably lolling on his right shoulder. It took him a while to understand what he was looking at. Which was himself lying on the floor with a ring of people staring down at the sight. His head was at an impossible angle and his eyes were staring, his face expressionless, mouth open. One of the teachers was on his knees, checking his pulse. He looked up and gave the verdict.
Dead. He's dead.